Hello and welcome back to dirtycooking.com. Dirty himself here, and what we're going to be cooking today is what I like to call my 7-day omelet. And I'll explain what the whole 7-day part is as we go along. But with every meal that I like to cook, I also like to have myself a good drink. This helps with not only fears of having a camera in my face, but it also helps relax you when you're cooking. And today's drink, since we are doing omelets and breakfast, I like to have a screwdriver when I make omelets. So what I've done is I've got some Smirnoff vodka. It's the really good stuff when it comes to vodka. Not really, but it's inexpensive. And I've got a little Minute Maid orange juice. And I've got myself my breakfast drink. Now that I've got that mixed and started, cheers to making a great 7-day omelet. Alright, so here we go with the 7-day omelet. What I like to do is I like to use butter instead of pan, and I just throw a little bit of butter in there. Now, you notice that this pan's a pretty good size, maybe for omelets. Some people like to use a lot smaller pan, but personally, I like my omelet to be a little bit thinner than thicker, alright? And I like to fill it up with meat and other stuff to actually give it some substance versus being just this big, chunky, thick thing of egg. Now, well, all I do is I get my butter in there, I heat it up, and I better turn it on and get us cooked up. And I like to go about medium heat. And over here, what I'm going to be doing is the most important part to this, half a shell of milk, all right? So if you go 3 eggs, half a shell of milk, you will always get just the right amount of milk in your omelet. If you're using extra large eggs or small eggs or whatever size of eggs you use, it doesn't matter as long as you use 3 eggs, half a shell of milk. That's one of my old farmer's tricks. So all you got to do is you mix that up. Now that's all ready to go. I got my butter ready to go, and I'm going to throw in, I like sausage, so I've got a little bit of breakfast sausage that I'm going to throw in the mix there. And I've got some bacon. Cooked bacon. This is none of that pre-cooked stuff. I already cooked this up beforehand and chopped it up, so I got my bacon, love bacon, and I've got some ham. So I got 3 meats, sausage, and bacon and ham. I throw that in. I take my vegetables. I've got some peppers. I like peppers, okay? I love Walla Walla sweet onions. Lots of onions. I go heavy with my onions. A little extra onions. And I also like some mushrooms in mine. Now, if you don't like something that I'm putting in here, that's fine, just leave it out. Or if you don't have something, that's totally fine. Now, while that's cooking up a little bit, what I'm going to do is grab my famous spatula. It's famous for me because I use it. Alright, I'm going to put a little extra butter in there. Again, it doesn't need to be cooked too hot. We're just going to kind of caramelize all of this up a little bit. Mix it in there. Again, don't need it on high heat, low heat. Now, the reason why I want to put this stuff in first is a couple reasons. One is because I like my meats and stuff to be hot. And here's the reason why I call this the 7-day omelet. And it's really important. You see I have everything lined up over here? All right? You probably think I've got this lined up because I'm doing a cooking show and I wanted to be super organized. But the honest truth of that is because of this very reason right here. This is a 7-day omelet because what I like to do is cook all my stuff up, cook my hams, get my meats, everything all done, all cut up. I throw the Tupperware on it and I throw it back in the fridge. And now this stuff is good for 7 days. And I've got all the makings, all the fixings that I need for my omelets for the next 7 days. Now, I'm not going to eat 7 days in a row worth of omelet, don't get me wrong, but it will usually last for about 7 days. And not only are people afraid of the flip when it comes to making omelets, but people don't want to get all the ingredients out, have to mix all of it. So if you have this on hand, or if you've got company staying over, make it before they come, throw it in your fridge. I had done this beforehand. I just grab it out of the fridge and I've got all my ingredients already done. Makes the cleanup process super simple, and I'm good to go. So that's the reason why we call this a 7-day omelet, is because I actually have ingredients that last me 7 days. If you've got a big family or family like I do, put them in bigger Tupperwares. But get all your ingredients done, throw it in there, and you'll be good to go. Okay, I've done this now. I've cooked it up a little bit, let that caramelize with the butter. Now I'm going to take my 3 eggs, half a shell of milk, and pour that in there. All right, I'm going to kind of let it level itself out. Now, again, make sure you're not cooking this too hot, all right? And even once you get your egg in there, feel free to turn it down a little bit more so that you are going to basically cook this thing all the way through, from bottom up, because you're not going to be flipping it. All right, so once you get your omelet in there, take your spatula, all right, and, ooh, important tip here. Make sure that you're using, right, a spatula. Look at the two of those things. See the difference in the thickness? All right, how skinny that is and how fat that is? That's going to cause for an ugly edge. And you want a pretty edge on your omelet, not an ugly one. All right, so grab a spatula. If you get air bubbles or things going on down here, and just work the edge of your omelet, okay? Or just work the edge like that, all right? Oh, man, I wish you could smell this right now. It smells so good. In fact, I want you to tell me, when you make your first omelet, and as soon as you get all those ingredients in there and cook it, I want you to tell me on Facebook how good that smell is. Well, just getting me hungry, smelling it there, all right? Now, you can see what I'm doing here is I'm actually taking it and I'm pulling back the edge a little bit, and I'm letting that loose egg run to the side, okay? Again, the reason being is I'm not going to flip this omelet, okay? I'm not going to flip it. So since I'm not going to flip it, I got to get this thing to cook, and I want to get that loose yolk over there on the side, eggs, so that we can continue to cook this thing all the way through. And that's it. So while that cooks, I'm just going to let that sit for a little bit and continue to cook through and enjoy a drink while that does that. Okay, so this omelet's cooked through pretty close all the way. Hopefully the bottom has not burned. No, it's perfect. It's golden brown, okay? So what I want to do now is I want to take my cheese, and then we are going to do the fold, all right? Not the flip, but the fold. So take my cheese, already done up. Be able to throw the lid back on this and throw it right back in there in the fridge. All right, so I've got my cheese. Now, I take my spatula, right, and I'm going to flip just like that. Oh man, that is a gorgeous looking omelet, all right? Now what happens is the top of that egg wasn't cooked quite all the way yet. So, again, I've got on really low heat. In fact, at this point in time, I can even turn it off because I've already cooked enough of the outside. Well, what's happening is now that I flip this, the inside of that egg that needed to cook a little bit more, it's going to go ahead and cook up just a little bit more. And what I like to do is I like to take a little cheese, put it on the top, all right? If you like to get really fancy, like take, you know, a piece of bacon or two. So I like bacon, it looks like it. And I also love my onions, so I'm going to throw an extra onion or two on the top there. That is good. And that's truly all there is to it. Now, if you like salsa, you want to add a little spice to it, you can use some medium spice salsa, or you can use some hot salsa. Salt and pepper, make sure you salt and pepper it. I usually like to salt and pepper it before I do my fold, but because I'm doing this on camera, I forget half the things I do sometimes. So I try to just throw them in and make up for it when I can. All right, so you do that, grab it, grab my omelet, and I'm gonna plate it. And that is a gorgeous looking omelet. You take that, let's throw a little bit of salsa onto it, onto the top. You see the size, these make really big omelets. So if you have a significant other or somebody, or you don't have a big appetite, if you're like me, this is a perfect size for me, but and there, you've got your omelet. Look at that thing. Isn't that a thing of beauty right there? Let's bite into this, see what we got. See if it's as good as it looks and smells. Oh man, that's hot. Oh, it's good. And that's it. Folks, it's that easy. Now, like I was saying before, I've got to do my cleanup. All I do, throw the Tupperware on, throw it in the fridge. I can make omelets for the next 7 days. I hope you enjoy learning how to make my 7-day omelet. This is dirty with a dirty 7-day omelet. Enjoy them.